Alright guys, Hayzink here, welcome back to the channel for another Street Fighter Duel video. So in my last video where I spoke about the new units that are upcoming soon, I mentioned to you that it's actually a good thing that we know a good bit in advance about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles coming to the game. Now, some of you may have been expecting them to drop next. No, that's not the case at all. They could potentially still be 6 to 8 weeks away, okay? They could potentially be longer than that, right? But 6 to 8 weeks seems to be probably most likely where they're likely going to come out, okay? Now, the good thing about that is it allows you to get yourself into a position where you can get one of these guys for free, right? Straight up, you can get one of them for free, okay? Now, I'm going to go through exactly how much you can get in that time, and you can guarantee yourself at least some copies of these units. If they introduce pity, like they're talking about doing, you might even be able to get these units up to SSS, okay? Depending on where you are, you might be able to get even more tickets in this, but predominantly what I'm going to be focusing on is how many tickets every player, regardless of power level, can get, okay? We will talk about the other places that you can get tickets if you are maybe a little bit stronger, but for now, we're really going to focus on what you can get as a player of any level, okay? So there's two scenarios. There is 6 weeks and there is 8 weeks. That's what we're going to focus on, okay? Now, in that time, you need to be going into your shop every single day and you need to be buying these free tickets, okay? As long as you buy those free tickets, don't worry, I'll put up a total at the end, right? I've got it already written, right? So the total will come up at the end. If you buy these tickets every single day, in 6 weeks, you will have 126 tickets, okay? If it's 8 weeks, you will have 168 tickets, okay? So starting from 0, that is where you will be. If you start buying these tickets after this event ends, okay? So if you start now, you'll be having more tickets than this, basically, right? So that's place number 1, okay? Now, just because the Turtles aren't going to come out for 6 to 8 weeks, doesn't mean there's not going to be any events in the game, okay? In that period of time, we are going to get more than likely 2, okay? But we'll say 1 and we'll present 1 and 2. We're going to get 2 or 1 event, okay? Most likely 2, right? So from an event, we know that we will get 50 pre-login tickets, okay? And as well as that, from just doing the basic stuff within an event, we're also going to get an additional 60 tickets, okay? In a 6 week period, I would expect us to get 2 events. Then it would be the Turtles, okay? In an 8 week period, we will definitely get 2, maybe even 3 events, and then the Turtles, okay? First up, I would probably expect us to get either Oni or Goken, and then the next event would be the other one, okay? So from those events, you would earn in total around about 110 tickets if you're just a casual player. So 2 events, that's 220 tickets, right? Obviously, if you're a little bit stronger, then you've got the potential to get more tickets, but this is limited to obviously 3 players per battle zone, okay? But if you are one of the stronger 3 players within your battle zone, you're obviously looking at picking up some tickets like this as well. We're not going to add these to the totals because I feel like that's unfair and it skews the numbers a little bit for the more casual free-to-play based players, okay? However, they are there, they are available, and some of you are going to get them, so that will boost your ticket totals even further, okay? So, what else are we likely to get? Well, during that time, we will probably get another HWA, okay, which is the fighting tournament thing. A lot of people can get the tickets from that. I think it's like everyone that's in the top and everyone that's in the second tier. So, I mean, you're talking hundreds of people. So a lot of you guys watching will get those tickets. That's another 10 tickets. In a 6 week period, I would only expect that to come back once. However, if it is an 8 week period, there is the potential for that to happen twice, okay? So if that was to happen, you would get 20 tickets, but for the purposes of doing totals, I've only included 10 in the actual totals that we're going to do, okay? As well as that, you then have the Turtles themselves, okay? So when the Turtles comes along, we're going to have the pre-login, right? I'm hearing rumours of like a split event, a 4-week event, stuff like that, because there's more units. If they were to do that, who knows, they might do 2 pre-logins, they might double the amount that we get for pre-logins, so rather than getting 50, we might get 100 tickets from the event itself. If it's a bigger, beefier event, instead of getting 60 tickets, we might get 120 tickets. But for the purposes of just calculating this, I've only taken it as one, okay? So one singular login, 50 tickets, 60 tickets from the event. Now that seems highly unlikely if they're going to do a bigger, badder event type thing, but just working on the minimums, that is where I've come to with these totals, okay? So let's take a look at the totals. So if you now focus on trying to save for these turtles that people want, okay, so if you're a fan and you don't want to drop lots of money, if you start saving now, you would have 356 tickets in 6 weeks, and that's only if there's one event, okay? You would have 466 tickets if there was 2 events, okay? Now, there is a strong chance that if it is that amount of time, if it is longer, then there could potentially be another event that slips in, but I feel like that's only really likely to happen if it's going to be 8 weeks between now and the turtles launching, okay? So, not looking at your global showdown or anything like that, because if we go here and look, depending on who you are, depending on where you're placed in the game, you do have this global showdown, right, which has got an additional 62 tickets available. Now again, not everyone can get these, but some of you can get them, which would boost your totals even higher, but we're not including them in that calculation at the bottom, okay? So what about if it was 8 weeks, okay? So if it was 8 weeks, move this up, you'd be looking at 508 tickets in 8 weeks, and that would only be if it was 2 events, okay? Again, this is including doing the pre-login and the missions and stuff for the Turtles event when it comes, but that would be 508 tickets. Now, I actually think that if it was an 8-week period, we would have 3 events within that time, okay? So if that is the case, you would be looking at getting another minimum of 110 tickets on top of that, okay? So that would put you right up to 618 tickets saved, okay? That is a lot. Now, they are talking about potentially bringing back Pity. If that happens, then I could seriously see quite a lot of you guys, if you focus now, if you start saving now, you will be able to get yourself at least one of these guys up to SSS free. You will. Straight up. No clickbait. You will. You will be able to get one of them free. But what it is going to require is dedication from you. Okay? You are going to probably see units coming out like Oni, like Goken, and they may well be busted and they may well be great. Okay? But what I would say to you guys is, they are permanent. Remember that. They are permanent. They are always going to be here. Okay? So, if you know you're a huge fan of the Turtles, collabs, whatever, save your tickets till these units come, okay? Now, I think they will be busted. I cannot see them not being busted, right? But if you save these tickets and they come along and they just so happen to be mid or not busted, then guess what, guys? All you do is go on to the special summon banner, you select Goken, you select Oni, you select Evil Ryu, you select whoever it is, and all these tickets you've banked, then bonus, you're going to be able to use them on those units, okay? Also, if they do introduce Pity, I cannot imagine it would only be for the Turtles, right? They would have to implement it into the systems as a whole, so it may well be a benefit for you just to save just now anyway, to see if that happens. But like I say, if you've got this amount of tokens sitting there and you want one of these new units when they come along for the collab, then you are in prime position to be able to get yourself a copy of them. So guys, while it can seem pretty doom and gloom, and I mean, I'm one of the first people to say that things are badly monetized and stuff like that, because of the advance notice that we've kind of given you by, I suppose, leaking the information that's in the data files, you guys now know that there is something on the horizon that you can save for. And if you do save, you can get yourself a hell of a lot of tickets. a hell of a lot of tickets and be in a position where you are potentially going to get yourself more copies of these units, okay? And I've not even calculated in things like potentially landing on here in the wish roulette. I've not calculated things like us maybe having more than one HWA. I've not calculated in other little side events that might give you these red tickets. This is just from things that we know pretty much we're going to get within game. So that number could be higher, right? So my advice to you is knuckle down, try and save, because when this comes along, if you're one of the people who's saved, you're going to walk away a winner. You're going to walk away a winner. Hands down, you'll get yourselves some copies of the unit. Hopefully it'll be SS, you'll be in a good spot, and you'll be able to enjoy the collab a lot more. Anyway guys, this is a PSA from Hayz. Maybe seeing the numbers on screen might encourage you a little bit more to put aside your summoning urges and save, because you know what? You can tickle your summoning urge with the Mummy Dalsum who's coming. I would probably expect us to get, in the meantime, Balrog. I reckon Balrog will probably come out maybe in a week after the Mummy Dalsum and stuff like that, because I know what the rotation is. The rotation tends to be they'll bring out units like Mummy Dalsum, like the Legend, and follow that up with a standard Infernal unit that will go into the Divination pool. Then after that, they'll follow it up with a special summon the following week, which I would expect to be either Goken or Oni. Then we'll roll on, probably after that, we'll get a Fashion unit, another event, and then that's when we start entering the time frame where we'll receive the turtles. So, knuckle down and get saving, guys, and you're going to get yourself a free Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Not clickbait, showing you right there, it's going to happen. I've been Hayzink. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Is this a bigger number than you realised that you could get because you just spend them willy-nilly? Or did you already know and you're a smart person who's sitting on loads of these things? Anyway, let me know in the comments down below and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.